Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today. I hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. Today's video has what I think is a hilarious backstory, but Mass Effect fans, strap yourselves to your seat. This is our moment. We're getting a lot of great options out here. I'm looking at you, Exodus, and now Alcat Games, the developers of the Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader CRPG, as well as the Pathfinder series, has just announced the Expanse Osiris Reborn. The post on Twitter says, "We are excited to announce the Expanse Osiris Reborn's a new sci-fi action RPG based on the Expanse. Become a captain of the most advanced ship in the universe, gather a crew, and challenge one of the most powerful enemies humankind has ever faced." Watch the trailer for the Expanse Osiris Reborn right here, which you're seeing on screen right now. So the funny backstory is this. I had to sign a contract to get an idea of what this game would be at all. When I saw it was the Expanse, I'm gonna be honest with you all, I went, no, I don't want to take the offer because I don't know anything about the show, and so I just think it would be like inauthentic. They insisted over at Alcat, they're like, no, you have to check this out because we know you'd like this. So they sent me the trailer like a week early to check it out because they were so confident and so convinced that I would want to talk about this. Now I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, it's the Expanse. I've never seen the show, I haven't read the book, so I don't know much about it. Then I get to that last snippet of gameplay. Then I start to read details on the game, and that Mass Effect part of my heart starts beating really fast. I'm like, yes, I am in. I want to talk about this thing because right when I saw it, I went, I was talking about this anyway based on that gameplay. So ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Alcat Games, who's sponsoring today's video. They wanted me to talk a bit about Expanse Osiris Reborn. After I saw it, I went, are you guys sure you even want to do this? Because like, I mean, this is something I'm going to talk about anyway, but here we are nonetheless. Like, all I'm saying is just that my sci-fi side of my body needs to be fed. Star Wars is looking kind of nice right now with Andor and the resurgence of Battlefront 2. But like after Starfield, I thought that would be the answer, but I'm looking at you, Exodus, I'm looking at you at Expanse Osiris Reborn, like someone nail it, please, my heart is on the line. But here's why I think Alcat can do the trick. But first, if you're new here, consider subscribing. Okay, so Alcat Games, best known for CRPGs. I talked a bit about these games before, but they've done Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, Pathfinder Kingmaker. And the way I look at Alcat Games is a lot of how I looked at BioWare, where they started off with CRPGs. In particular, BioWare's fantasy series was Baldur's Gate, which then evolved basically into at least Dragon Age Origins. We know how the rest of that went. But I look at Alcat and Pathfinder a little bit of how I look at BioWare and Baldur's Gate. Then I look a bit at what they've done with the Warhammer 40k series in Rogue Trader and soon Dark Heresy. And I think a lot about Knights of the Old Republic with BioWare, where they took in a franchise that wasn't theirs, but then the product that they put out onto the market was so different from anything we've seen from that franchise before that it became its own being. Like I always talk about Knights of the Old Republic, it's my favorite game of all time, and that just feels so entirely detached from anything in the Star Wars ethos, and that's because it was just a unique piece of gaming history by BioWare that explores gritty politics at the same time as like Jedi. It's beautiful, it's perfect. And I think about that a lot with Rogue Trader, where they just took the Warhammer series, which is really known for like high-paced action, and then you have like the RTS games, and they made the first ever Warhammer CRPG out of it, and it was excellent. So I'm very excited for more there. So that's where I'm starting to see these BioWare parallels, and the Expanse comes along, and I look at this and I go, oh, this is their Mass Effect. And especially after Rogue Trader's success, I'm really excited about them taking in another IP because I think they'll handle it well. But this isn't just my interpretation of, oh, it's the next Mass Effect. Here's what Alcat said themselves. This was game design producer Yulia Chernenko, who talked about Mass Effect, saying, quote, "It was iconic for the Xbox 360 generation of gamers. Many of us played it in our teenage years, and it left a lasting impression. We are building on that legacy and expanding what players anticipate from this experience. Our story is deeply rooted in hard science fiction, one of the core reasons the Expanse universe resonates so well with its fans. The combat reflects the standards of modern action gameplay. The narrative emphasizes political tension and moral complexity. And yes, there's romance too." That's what really stood out to me when I saw this trailer like a week ago. I saw the gameplay and I went, I know Alcat for CRPGs and damn good ones, but for them to go and level up like this is a third-person shooter, cover-based by the way. You'll see in some of the snippets of the trailer, like you can literally slide from cover to cover. I hope it controls a little bit like Division. That's a really great third-person shooter in my opinion. There's zero gravity sections. One of the other details I caught in the trailer was a character taking cover in Zero Gravity, and I think that's going to be really interesting. But they also talk a bit about class-driven powers. So yeah, I'm thinking of like my Vanguard in Mass Effect. Like, I love that they're leaning into this, and I do wish, just on a side note, more developers spoke like this. Hell yeah, we're Mass Effect fans, and yeah, we're working with the Expanse, which is also very Mass Effect coded. Like, we're leaning into that. That gets me so excited, especially because it's like, my eyes are not deceiving me. This is your touchstone, and that's really exciting. They also have party management in this game, not just in talking with them and getting to know them and how everyone has their own past. I'm talking about combat still. Squad commands that you can issue in combat, 2 companions traveling with you at any given time. That is Mass Effect, man. And then you can romance these characters. All of this is built in Unreal Engine 5, but what a tremendous level up. Like, obviously the verdict is still out on whether or not the Expanse Osiris Reborn will succeed, because one thing that I will say about Alcat Games is that, like, their games take a little bit of time to get stable after launch. Like, I found myself in that pocket of like, I'll wait a few weeks or a few months and then get involved. And then when you throw, of course, how people feel about Unreal Engine 5 in there, yeah, like, I understand if people are still looking, it's like, okay, it's pre-alpha and this is a big level up for them, but I'm excited for them because this can really put them on the map and then retroactively put people onto their CRPGs that have been fantastic for a while. Again, we've been talking about their games since, like, I think 2021. They're an excellent developer, so shout out to them on that. Now, if you're like me, as I said at the top of the video, I've never seen the show. That was one of the main reasons at first I wasn't gonna make the video until I saw the gameplay and went, oh, but I do love Mass Effect, right? So what's going on here? Well, for those of you who have seen the show, let me give you the information then why, if you haven't seen the show, it sounds like you're gonna be all right. So this storyline is parallel to seasons 1 through 3 of The Expanse. And this is a 6-season TV show that I kind of feel compelled to watch now, but I want to learn more about the game as we get deeper into its marketing campaign. But in particular, they're highlighting season 2's Eros incident. Your main character, as described by the Steam page, is a merc caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you're basically a blank slate character. You play as either an Earther, a Martian, or a Belter. So you even have that little selection there. I'm just like, dude, again, like, sign me up. But I love that it's blank slating, because to me, as someone who is not committed to 6 seasons of a TV show, I struggle to commit to like even 1. Yeah, like, this is great for me to maybe get into it, because, like, I'll use Star Wars as an example again. I became a Star Wars fan because of KOTOR, and then playing the episode 3 video game, and then watching the movies from there. Like, it was video games like Battlefront that pulled me in, Republic Commando that pulled me in. So I'm thinking that Expanse Osiris Reborn can do the same thing. But I also know how my hype gets, and like, if I get really jonesing for this one, like, I might just at least grind out seasons 1 through 3 and see where things go. The Steam page also describes the story, so for Expanse fans, this is for you. By the 24th century, humanity has conquered the cosmos. However, life has remained anything but easy. In the Expanse Osiris Reborn, a story-driven sci-fi action RPG, you play as a pink water security mercenary whose brief shore leave on the asteroid Eros spirals out of control. Trapped in a deadly lockdown and drawn to a solar system-wide conspiracy far beyond your control, you'll have to adapt, survive, taking command of the most advanced ship in the whole solar system. So yeah, again, like, I know I said Mass Effect like 80 million times this video, but like, for real, I look at this and I go, oh, and we're gonna explore the solar system. Okay, where are we exploring the solar system? IGN has reported that you'll be visiting places from the books in the show, such as Ganymede, Ceres, Mars, and Luna. So I'm just like, dude, yes, hell yes. Alcat, specifically on the topic of the show, has said that this is a new cast and perspective. It is not a replay of the show. They call it your Expanse story. So this is very different from maybe something you got in like a previous Expanse video game, the only previous Expanse video game in Telltale's approach. Now, based on what I've read online, Telltale's approach wasn't bad. It's just like, I think this is way more in line with what fans of the show always wanted. They did say, though, that characters from the show will be returning and some actors and actresses will be reprising their roles, though they have not revealed who they are. Again, for me, smooth brain over here, I'll just be like, oh, cool, who's that? But nonetheless, still nice to see for fans of the show. So then, Maddie, why do you care? Like, why are you interested in the first place? Well, The Expanse is described by its fans as gritty politics, clashing factions, believable space tech, like that grounded sense of realism, endearing characters. And to me, a lot of that is Mass Effect. And because of that, again, I've been introduced to great TV shows and movies through video games. I'm just going to continue to do that throughout my whole life. So that really pulled me in. I also saw in the trailer environmental destruction of some kind. It may have just been like a set piece, but there's this one point where you see like the glass breaking open and something shooting inside to the station that is destroying everything around it. And the way it's all falling apart looked so dynamic and realistic that I went, is that real time? I mean, I can't imagine, but dude, that'd be sick if so. The only bad news I've got for you here, the only bad news, one, no release date, unfortunately. It's just coming soon to Steam, Epic Game Store, GOG, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. That's the only bad news I got for you here today. No release date, no release window, just coming soon. I like that they announced this between all of the showcase madness originally, because I was just like, yeah, dude, like it had its own window of time where it gained a lot of conversation and traction. The other thing that CRPG fans who don't like third-person shooters or sci-fi things or whatever, you may be looking at this going, well, I care more about their CRPGs. They have described the Expanse Osiris Reborn as, quote, their flagship project, end quote, but they said, rest assured the team behind the Expanse Osiris Reborn is completely separate from Alcat's other projects and will not hinder excellence elsewhere, end quote. And of course, on top of this, they're also doing more DLC for Rogue Trader. What? Like, there is so much going on over at Alcat Games. It's crazy, but I'm excited for them because if they nail this, this really puts them on the map in a new way. I just hope they don't make the mistake BioWare made. BioWare got a little too action game happy. We saw how that went. Mass Effect was peak, but we saw how that went otherwise. It didn't work for something like Dragon Age. So I'm hoping that Alcat learns from those mistakes and continues to make CRPGs that satisfy their fans, and so they continue to have a dedicated CRPG team. Well, also, like, yeah, if this is the flagship title, it makes sense. It's their big swing that's getting a ton of conversation immediately. But hey, let's not disrespect what they did with Warhammer. The way 40K Rogue Trader made noise in like the same year that Space Marine 2 was doing its thing, like that's pretty crazy to do, especially for a CRPG. But since Baldur's Gate 3, that sort of CRPG style has really brought a lot of people in. But of course, that hunger for the BioWare style experience continues on, and the fact that Alcat is going to step up and try to do that, so excited for them. So it seems like they've checked all the boxes here. So now I'm going to sit back and wait and see how things go. And we'll discuss more as time goes on. But let me know your thoughts on the Expanse Osiris Reborn down below. Keen to get your thoughts. Other than that, shout out to Alcat one more time for sponsoring today's video. Really funny story on how we got into this one. And with that, I look forward to reading your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.